I don't know how much of the Flames you saw. It probably wasn't the top of the list. Jets look good. Flames have struggled, but they're not half-assing it. They're just missing a lot of skill, and they're rolling out a lot of 6, 7, 8, 9 defensemen. Did you see the Marty Pospisil elbow, and what do you think of that collision with Josh Morrissey?
Yeah, no, I saw it. I didn't see it live. I saw it on replay. You know what? I'm always hesitant with these kinds of things. So this is the replay that we're looking at right now that I saw. And, again, frame by frame, does he leave his feet or is he leaving his feet as he's going through the hit? And that's just the momentum. And I'm probably in a position where I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. It looks like he's got that left arm tucked. It looks like Morrissey is vulnerable and down a little bit. He makes the play or realizes he's going to get hit, so he just lets the puck go. It's a play that I can assure you that George Parros and company have looked at 100 times by now. It also feels, and I haven't looked at the Department of Player Safety X feed here. I mean, they haven't called a hearing, have they?
I haven't heard anything yet. So, and really quickly, while we got it up, this is point of contact. Elbows tucked, skates on the ice.
Yeah.
But then 2 frames later, you're like, holy shit, he blew him up with an elbow. Like, I don't know how they dissect this stuff. This is a really tough job.
But we had that frame frozen, that's for me where they would start the analysis. And it would be point of contact.
Yeah.
And now Morrissey gets rid of that puck immediately because he knows what's coming. He's about to get popped and he knows it. And you can see that Morrissey, again, he's lowered himself, to exit the zone, to make a play, to do whatever he's going to do in that moment. He is allowed to be hit there.
Yep.
He's allowed to be hit there. I didn't have a problem with it. And again, that freeze frame that we saw, you can see that Pospisil has got that left arm tucked as Morrissey's head is hitting the elbow upper arm. So I don't think – look, I feel like if there was anything coming from the Department of Player Safety, we'd probably have heard by now. That's normally what happens when you get to midday in the East. You normally hear these things. So without checking, my gut tells me that was a good, clean hit. And everybody, especially the Winnipeg Jets, hopes that Josh Morrissey is okay.
Yeah, and I'm just going to scroll and make sure we haven't seen anything yet. Nothing's popped up in my feed in terms of it. What would, like, here's the thing. He's been kicked out of 4 games if you go back to the preseason. In Winnipeg, there was a bad elbow, high stick on Marchand. He just finished serving a 3-game suspension, and then last night he gets punted as well. You said I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. That's where I wonder about maybe the Department of Player Safety isn't going to give him the benefit of the doubt. The guy hasn't played 60 games yet, and he's had 4 ejections, including the preseason.
So here's what happens in that scenario. And again, this is just history, educating me in this and not saying this has happened. Normally, I think what would happen is if it's real close and it's great, but they are willing to give him the benefit of the doubt despite a developing record here, he might get a call from someone in the Department of Player Safety. Normally, it would be the head, George Parros, but it could be somebody else inside that crew that would walk him through that play, maybe send him the video link, and maybe Craig Conroy is on the call to walk him through and say, okay, this hit is fine, obviously, or we'd be having a different conversation. We would call a hearing, either a conference call or an in-person hearing if we thought it was egregious. Mm-hmm. You're really close to the line, and here's why you're close to the line. So just be mindful of that.
Yeah.
We're not necessarily giving you the benefit of the doubt because you haven't earned that, but you also didn't fully cross the line, and we can't elevate it to supplemental discipline, but you're damn close.
Yeah.
So maybe take a different path or try something different in the future.
It does feel like the whole thing's gray area. Like everyone gets outraged by the outcomes of a lot of these things, but I mean, put yourself in Parros' shoes. That's a tough fucking job to do that one there.
Crazy.
Terrible job.
And one thing it is, and just, and not that I'm here to defend George. Doesn't matter to me, is I'm as confused as anybody when it comes to how they come up with the numerical position on some of these suspensions. And it pisses the people off in the Department of Player Safety when we ask these type of questions or there's criticism directed at them because they say that they go through a very methodical process. One thing I will say about Parros, and I just saw it at the general managers meetings, he probably had 40 conversations.
Really?
Face to face.
Hmm.
And they're not all heated, don't get me wrong, but there were a couple of managers that took a run at him at those meetings in Florida, no doubt about that. But he stands in there and he's not afraid to take the heat because, you know, the criteria that they use was criteria that was in part established by the general managers and certainly endorsed by the general managers. So you can't live in your own bubble when you're pissed off at the Department of Player Safety. You've got to look at it from a macro perspective and not a micro perspective. But Parros is always there, man. He stands in there and he defends and he's open to criticism and he's willing to admit when he's wrong as well.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.